Hopefully I can actually make a decent video. Hello everyone, my name is Jeremiah and welcome back to my channel. I have not been recording for a while. I had just gotten kind of burned out during school. Just didn't want to keep doing it. But I'm doing alright. Still gaming, still with the same old computer, with the same old, setup. Everything's, the same, fundamentally. But I have been growing out my computer knowledge and been growing out my computer network along with that said knowledge. And that's what I want to make a video on. First things first, we can always talk about my messy bed and my computer setup. Got music, file server. This is my Windows computer. Of course, I have it displayed open like this because I usually am digging in there for different various reasons. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is all of this computer, that computer, and that one down there. And that switch, those two switches, and this big boy right there. Honestly, I don't know why my camera takes a gig for a 10-minute video when the camera quality is absolute crap. I'm just going to be honest with you. The camera doesn't focus. The video is always very blurry, especially when you zoom in. So I don't understand why it's taking up so much so much space on my phone when I could probably eat a potato, poop it out, then use that for a camera and it'd work a lot better. Anyway, let's get to the point. This is my network setup. Of course, I had been taking a class over at my local vocational school to learn about computers, IT help desk, and, various other topics. And one of them was networking and virtualization. I tend to struggle at networking myself, but I do like doing it, even though I'm not the greatest at it, especially when it comes to stuff like VLANing. Virtual LANs and everything. But I do especially love myself some virtualization. And this is what this setup is for. Also, the reason why this isn't up in that and that's down there is because these wires, I didn't feel like taking everything offline just to do some organizational stuff. If I ever add another machine to this cluster, I will move that out. But for now, it's fine. Anyway, so what we actually have here is a Lenovo ThinkCentre M83 Dell Optiplex SFF, and this was the really small form factor. Don't know what they call it, but it's basically the same thing as that, just a smaller breed. They all have two NICs, one motherboard and one PCI, and this thing right here is my, you could call it file server, my NAS, whatever. This is where all of the data for my house, mostly for me and my mom's backups and my grandma's backups for her phone, and also for these file servers. So essentially, this is the central place that is handling my data and the security for the credentials for that data as well. So, for example, I use Samba Share or SMB through Windows to actually for user data, and I use NFS, network file share or file system for my virtualization servers here. And if you're wondering what I'm using to virtualize on, I actually started out on Linux's KVM, which is their kernel-based virtual machine, and it worked pretty good, but I was having issues with setting up an NFS file server, so I eventually did get to TrueNAS, but by then I was already taking apart my setup, and I was actually migrating over to something called Proxmox. And for some reason, NFS and Proxmox and NFS and TrueNAS worked flawlessly. I had I had no issues at all. So anyway, essentially, the reason why I'm using Proxmox is because it was working very well as for hosting my virtual machines, but also because my NFS share worked fine. And one thing I liked about Proxmox that KVM can't really do for you, in a sense, is Proxmox can give you data centers, which basically means that you can make these 3 computers or more, or less, 2, but usually you need to have 3 or more. Pardon me, I'm sorry, I'm being very burpy right now. Anyway, basically, you have a data center, and that data center in Proxmox is just a collection of specific computers, servers, or whatever you want to call them, or as they're known in Proxmox as nodes. Basically, these are 3 nodes. These nodes can create, run, manage virtual machines all under a singular data center. And let's say if I have to take this computer off for maintenance, I can migrate live, meaning the virtual machine stays on the entire time. I can live migrate the virtual machine from here down to, let's say, that one. Then I can do maintenance on that. When I'm done, plug that back in, migrate them back up here, then do maintenance on that, vice versa, etc., so on and so forth. They also have some decent backup stuff, and they have high availability, so in case if this machine accidentally goes offline by accident, yes, the virtual machines do shut off, but they will automatically start, and I think they actually might resume exactly from where they left off on a different host. So in other words, yes, you did have some downtime, but it's less than 2 minutes at max. For virtual machines, I don't know for the containers, but that's another thing. You also have the ability to run Linux containers. You can't run Windows containers because obviously the Windows kernel is not here. Putting the USB away. Anyway, essentially, that's why I decided to go with Proxmox, because it is just great for actually, running virtual machines, great for managing those virtual machines, and phenomenal for, creating giant groups of, clusters to manage your, fleet. So basically, great centralization, great for high availability, and if you have a bunch of these servers, you can actually do load balancing as well. So the VMs don't just go all into one machine and start bombarding it and making it fail itself. You'll actually get it to be spread across, let's say, multiple machines, so VM, let's say, 105, 107, and 110 aren't all thrown on the top one. Maybe 2 are put up here and 1's put on the bottom. And to get back on this topic here, the TrueNAS I don't actually have many users with. I do have some issues understanding TrueNAS because there's not necessarily a lot of YouTube videos, and I could read the documentation, but it's the whole documentation for everything. And I don't want to learn about everything if I'm only going to use maybe a few sets of features. So that's why I like the Proxmox, because there's a lot of videos out there, and you can find specific topics or find broad information, and plus there is actually a few tutorials out there that goes over the entirety of what Proxmox is and a lot of their feature sets. So it's also because someone decided to, be courteous and do that. So thanks to them, I can use Proxmox knowing that if I have an issue, I can always go to their video and watch that 15-minute video easily. Now, I'm going to actually quickly bring you guys over here to my setup. I'm going to... Hold on, sorry, I have to find my mouse here. I'm very blind. Not much has changed. Okay, we're going to actually use one... I'm going to do this through my internal IP address, because I did at one point have this set up so I could access this from outside the internet, or from out of my network, through the internet. I have since closed that port, between security and also not needing it. But anyway, basically, firstly, this isn't essential, It's nice to have the subscription, but it is not essential, and obviously I don't get in trouble for not having one. But here's what I mean. Basically, there's node Proxmox 1, 2, and 3. These are the specific computers. Now, pardon me, I'm sorry. Now essentially this right here, the data center, is actually where I handle everything. So basically I can handle permissions, users, the specific roles people have, user access control stuff, firewall, metrics support. I can do backups, storage, which is for some reason it shows all the storage pools that you have assigned in each VM, when I think it shouldn't be like this. But at the same time, I guess it makes sense, because you want to see in case if maybe, hey, we're having some issues with this, let's say we're having issues with this one on this VM, or on this node, maybe it can help you indicate, hey, we have a wire that is offline, or something like that. For me, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to tell if we're offline or not. So, but anyway, basically, if I wanted to, we'll go ahead and actually pull up my Minecraft server here. Okay, I have a 7 Days to Die one as well. My Minecraft server here. If I wanted to, I could go over here, go over to migrate, then I can do a live migration, and I can migrate it to, let's say, this one here or that one up there. I would preferably set it to this one down here, because the CPU type in this one and this one are the same, since they're both the Dell Optiplexes that use the 3470s. Pardon me. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's my entire setup, and yeah, let me know what you think. Also, on top of that, I'm actually running a lot of game servers. So, for example, I do have a lot of servers for me and my friends. I also have a few personal servers for, experiments and learning, but overall I am just doing video game hosting for me and my friends. So, for example, I have for my old class, then I have a Minecraft host for me and my brother and one of my friends. That technically hosts 2 Minecraft servers on it anyway. Then we have my 7 Days to Die server. I do this 7 Days to Die, then the version number, the actual version that it's on, then server, of course, or anything you want. I was doing that, so Minecraft, the version, the specific, group of people that it's for, but I have kind of given up on that, because I'm not obviously running this in full capacity of, as if I was doing this for a bunch of people. But I should start doing that, though. Anyway, unrelated, basically, this is my entire setup. Hey, if you have any questions about Proxmox, go ahead and ask. If you have any concerns about, maybe, how do you even create a 7 Days to Die server? Can you use Windows? Can you use Linux? What can you do? Ask. I'll be more than happy to spin up OBS and start recording a video on how to actually set up a 7 Days to Die server for yourselves, whether it's in Proxmox, VMware, VirtualBox, it doesn't matter. It'll be the same across the board. The only thing that is different is how you actually, where you actually run it. So, there's that. Like, for example, you could run your 7 Days to Die or Minecraft servers directly on physical hardware if you so choose. And it wouldn't even be a bad decision. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions, just, comment down below. I will actually probably leave a link to the Proxmox website in the comments. I will also do the same thing with the TrueNAS. I will also probably leave links to where I had bought my Dell Optiplexes, because they're very cheap on eBay, and you can get them for fairly cheap, and, basically buy the ones without RAM or as little RAM as possible. Then you can buy your own RAM, then you can get better RAM for a slightly better deal, but everything is eating crap right now because of the chip shortage. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. Drink some water. I know some of y'all are dehydrated, so drink some water, and I will see you guys all later. You have a fantastic day.